So good morning to those of you who have joined us in person in the room, and to those of you who are watching virtually. We are here with another instalment of the Business School Professional Lecture Series. I'm going to be in the back end helping to support the chat box. So for those of you who are watching virtually, please do pop your thoughts and comments and questions in the chat box, and I'll be relaying them to today's professional lecture speaker after her presentation. So without further ado, I'm going to hand over to Lyn Hamblin for her lecture.
Thank you very much, and welcome everybody to a 9 o'clock start where we're going to be exploring how we can develop business potential and access to consultancy models. So without further ado, let's kick off with the first slide. Thanks, Mary. So really, there is a background and context to executive leadership support at LSBU. We're very involved with the ILM, so we offer adult learning and accreditation through the Institute of Leadership and Management. We have a student-led consultancy model here, which is our Business Solutions Centre, and we're very proud to be working with Wayfinder as well as other local authorities to promote research and business development through our students, who are supported through academics. We have a professional consultancy here at LSBU, which involves academics working on specific problems or projects that you might have or questions that you might be asking around your business. But today, we are really going to be talking about how you can provide your own consultancy to support for your business through Help to Grow. So next slide, please, Mary. So really, by the end of today, what I hope that you have gained from this session is a deeper understanding of the Help to Grow management programme, really with a bit more insight into exactly what the modules can offer you and your business, and also how the course is set up to make sure that academic theory and models that you might be learning about in your sessions actually become applied into your business and help you to grow your business. That is the aim of the programme. And really then to think about how this programme might be useful to you in your own context. Okay. Could somebody mute? Sorry, unless you want to help me present, that would be equally fine. Okay, so what is Help to Grow management? It's a government subsidised leadership and management programme, and it's designed specifically for small business leaders. And in this context, small businesses are between 5 and 249 employees. And the programme cost to organisations is just £750. The rest is funded by government to make sure that you are able to access really very up to the minute, and I'll talk a little bit more about how I qualify that in a minute, up to the minute sort of understanding, learning current philosophies, current ideologies in how to really grow your business in the context of the last 2 years that we've been through, and really some of the changes that you might need to implement or consider to make your business grow. So what the programme aims to give you is to develop your skills and knowledge and your own leadership style, really digging deep into what it is that you want to achieve and how you can achieve it through the people that you're employing. Implement those ideas into your business. And really importantly, and I think some of the expert speakers who are all industry professionals think that one of the biggest value adds to this is really gives you time to step away from your business and think about how you want to grow it, discussing that with other participants, with the support of your facilitator who works with you throughout the programme, and also the networks that you're actually working with, the participants and the expert speakers and your mentor. So there are lots of ways, and I'll show you a visual of that as we move through these slides, but there are lots of ways in which you can embed the learning that you're accessing through the programme. And yeah, through that as well, we are building a successful alumni network presently. So that means that anybody that's been through this programme at LSBU, regionally and nationally, you will have access to network with, and these are all businesses that have survived COVID and are people that can be useful to you in your business community. And really, just the last point, we were recently, Paul Scully came to meet us, and one of the participants said, sometimes consultancy is like asking somebody to tell you the time from your own watch. Well, this programme is going to teach you to tell the time from your own watch. so that you will be able to use some of these consultancy models in your own context with that deeper understanding of your organisation and where you want to be. So that's the programme. And really it's been designed because of something that's been identified by the government. It's the UK's productivity challenge. We are not doing as well as our counterparts in France and Germany. And some of the key drivers for growth that have been identified by the government are the management skills that are required and digital adoption. So these are areas that the government have identified to help the growth of SMEs throughout the UK. And as it says here, it's really to address growth potential and making those businesses or placing those businesses in a position where they can take the next step and consider where and how they want to grow. It is important to say that LSBU have a fantastic delivery team, and I'll talk a little bit more about that later. But the Chartered Institute of Business Schools are leading this, so the materials are created and they are nationally standardised. Delivery might be slightly different, but they're nationally standardised with thought leaders in each of the areas that the course covers. So the quality assurance is there, the government, and the Chartered Association of Business Schools are there to make sure the infrastructure is in place, not just to do the learning and to make sure the materials are right and access to the materials is standardised across the UK, but also to make sure that you can develop your networks, not just regionally, but nationally. Okay, next slide, please. So these are the objectives. These are the things that have been identified as business drivers and things that small business owners are interested in developing. So innovation, profitability, employee wellbeing, and that's something that actually does resonate through the course. I think SMEs are always aware, particularly in London, that bigger organisations may be able to offer them more in terms of progression and overall benefits. So how can you keep your employees happy, engaged, and understanding where you're going? Obviously, all of this then leads to growth in revenues and boosting in productivity. So these are really the areas that have been identified to move forward to help you to grow your business. Next slide, please. So breaking that down a little bit more, I think the important part here is the fact it's a practical programme. This is not just about high thinking and reading reams and reams. It's about saying, here is a business model that will help you with your business, and then taking that into peer group facilitation and into mentoring support, so you can actually discuss that with like-minded individuals and the support of the facilitation team and your mentor to see how that might work for you. And not all of these areas may be suitable for business growth, but we cover everything, because afterwards you will have access, if you join the alumni programme, to all the materials for 3 years. So it might be that there's it's not now but later moment, and you can go back and revisit that at the time. So we're looking at resiliency, profitability, being inclusive. Inclusion is a big theme through this programme, and actually people like IBM have done studies around the increase in impact in your business model if you have different approaches through inclusion. So that's a part of the strands, or one of the strands. Analysis, systems analysis, process analysis, marketing and customer group analysis. Really, when we start to dig deep, and actually one of the expert speakers is here today, into marketing, sometimes with a smaller business, it can be a bit scattergun. So we're going to ask you to refine that. Think about the market that you're trying to get, segment that market, and actually work to engage that market. Staying ahead, embracing new digital technology, and leadership and management. You know, how are you going to implement the ideas that you're sharing and developing through the programme? How are you going to take that into your business and bring your people with you? Then we move more on to sort of process and finance. There is a fantastic finance module at the very end, and I know that several participants have made immediate changes having sat through and engaged with that lecture, with that expert speaker session. And really then how you communicate your business, your values, what you're trying to achieve, both to your internal and your external stakeholders. So it sounds easy when you say it like that on the slide, doesn't it? Okay, so this is a kind of visual of how the programme works, and I've put this in because it is quite deep. That journey is very rich. So you'll have your modules. So you have 2 modules that are delivered through a webinar, and then your third module, and that continues all the way through, is a case study. So you embed the knowledge of module 1 and module 2 into a case study where you'll look at a similar small business who's actually implemented and used some of the things that we've discussed in the first 2. At this point, your one-to-one support kicks in, so you'll have a mentor that you'll be speaking with, and I'll talk to you more about the whole package, the T's and C's, as I like to call it, as we get to the end of this session. But also you have your peer group sessions. So we are exceptionally lucky here at LSBU. We have 3 facilitators, all of whom have extensive experience in people and business leadership, one of whom has received an OBE for his services to small businesses and has a book written that's published and successful around that. So when you are bringing these ideas home, as I like to call it, you are in very safe hands. Then you're handed on to your mentor. So this is the journey, as you can see, that replicates. You've then got your case study. The case study is actually 4 hours long. We do provide food and drinks because we know that you've probably had a long day before that. And they really do dig a bit deeper. They are in person. So you'll be coming into the university for modules 3, 6, 9 and 12. Okay, next slide please, Mary. Thank you. So I'm going to talk a little bit more about this as we move through, but these cross-cutting themes are themes that are identified not just because they are the right thing to do, but they are things that actually, when we look at value proposition, as we do in module 1 for strategy and innovation, these are things that are important to how customers relate to you. And we know that as customers buy more online, they are looking for a narrative, they are looking for reviews, they are looking, people go to Glassdoor, people go to look at your website, people will even Google, if it's a big decision, to see if you have a sustainability policy. So all of these things are not just important because they are the right thing to do, they are important because it helps you to engage through value proposition with the businesses, with other businesses and with your customers. So they are the cross-cutting themes. And then Mary, next slide, please. And these are the programme topics. I'm not going to dive completely deeply into all of these because I'd like to leave you with enough questions to come and find out more about the course. But we take it in parts. So part 1 is strategies for growth and innovation. This is where we look at your strategy, your value proposition, if there are areas that you can explore outside of your current marketplace, and if there are ways in which you can pivot your business to include more customers. What can you do differently? What value can you add to your current proposition? Then we look at digital. Now, digital covers it's quite a wide module. It looks at where you are now. We do a little bit of a health check as to where you are now. We look a little bit at security because security is important. And we look at ways in which people are organising themselves in terms of social media presence. There are changing rules around social media presence, and we're very lucky to have award-winning digital colleagues that are actually industry experts based in Croydon who are up to the minute and can advise you around digital adoption. And then we move to internationalisation and winning new markets. So that brings those 2 modules together, and we look at a case study in how you can grow your business, and that is both service and product focused. We know in London there are lots of businesses that are service driven, but there are still considerations if you're looking to bring your business internationally.
Yes. So can you just clarify, module 1 and module 2, are they more taught, and then module 3 is more of a case study?
Yes, so that's exactly right. So you would have your webinar 1, webinar 2, and then you move to module 3, which is the 4-hour case study where it's interactive. You will have the opportunity to discuss in small groups as you're learning, and there is participation. I would say, however, that for all of the modules, there is an opportunity for collaboration, and we use chat and Teams and polls and all sorts of things to make sure that the learning is going in, but also that we're empowering some of the knowledge that we have in the room through our participants to share and extend the learning of the sessions. But yes, certainly module 3 would be an interactive, reflective and real life application of what the learning has been. Next slide, please, Mary. Okay, so engaging with customers. So once you've worked out what you're doing, how are you going to tell people about that? So we really have a good deep dive into vision, mission and values, because for your internal and external stakeholders, that's where we need to start. We've worked out what we're going to do, and then we need to work out why that's important and how we're going to do it. And then we move on to externally facing, and we're looking at developing a marketing strategy that's efficient for you, not something that's kind of scattergun, not something that is left or is not focused. So it's really about making sure you're getting your bang for your buck, really. And it's a marketing strategy that is suited to you. I know that some organisations now are not saying B2C and B2C, sorry, B2B and B2C, they're saying human to human. But really, we do start to look at where your market is. We're looking at whether bidding would be the right way for you to move forward, and how you build those relationships and how you extend your message out into the market. And module 6 then brings those two together, another case study where we look at a brand and we look at development of brand and we look at how that might impact an organisation. Okay, so then we're moving on, we're moving to building a sustainable and agile business. So once we've established what we're doing, we now need to look at how that infiltrates into your own organisation. So we did a session on organisational design, which actually prompts quite a lot of discussion around effective high performance and how you construct your business for success. Implementing some of the learning that we've covered in the first 2 themes or topics of the programme, we then look at organisational design. And from there, how are you bringing your people with you? How are you, everything is, you know, the module says leading change. Change is the only constant. And I'm sure as business owners, you understand how much change has happened. I'm speaking to the converted, I'm sure, and how you communicate that and how you manage change within your organisation. And there are some great models that you can use to really help you to move that forward and ensure that you have the buy-in of your employees. And then we come to our high performance workplace, our case study, where we bring all of this together by looking at a real life example of how that might work. Next slide, please, Mary. Okay, and then it's really the infrastructure. We've gone from the idea to selling the idea to setting that idea up into your organisation to making sure that you have sustainable growth through your infrastructure. So we look at effective operations, finance and financial management, and then at the very end, which is the aim of this whole programme, is around your growth plan. So everybody who completes this programme will have a growth plan that is bespoke to their own organisation and has been supported through peer group facilitation and through mentors, one-to-one mentor support. And that's where the programme concludes for now, but we're very interested then in continuing a nurturing relationship and a reciprocal relationship with the university, sharing ideas, sharing knowledge, and increasing that alumni network. Okay, Mary, next slide, thank you. So this is a programme that runs across the country, and I think it is fairly standardised, but what I can say about LSBU is we've really focused on making the delivery meaningful, relevant, and aimed at an executive leadership market. Okay, so we talked a little bit before about the facilitators that we have. These are safe hands. These are people that you can discuss your business vision with and can support you through that process, followed by the mentors. Our practitioners have industry experience. They've walked the walk. They understand the pressures of running a small business and taking that time to step away and actually think bigger, think wider, and start to plan strategically for growth. Because of that, we do have, as a university, exemplar levels of engagement retention and alumni participation. So people who come on this course value it and they want to continue the relationship with the university. We've also thought quite hard around when is the best time to do this. And we feel that because you're working, it would be helpful to run these sessions in the evening so that you can come away from work without distractions of texts, emails coming through, and really focus on the learning. So our sessions run from 6 till 8 if they're webinars, and the case studies run from 5 till 9 o'clock. And as I said, we do feed and water people, so there is some breaks. There are some breaks in there. We like to think that we are an inclusive and warm program delivery team. We really want you to feel that you are empowered to be a part of the learning and a part of the and in control of your end result. So those consultancy skills that we discussed at the beginning of this session, those are yours to own and use as your business grows. And you may go back, you may revisit, but you are empowered. You will have a toolkit that empowers you to grow your business at your own pace and in your own time. And we do have an accredited and award-winning mentoring team. So, okay, thank you.
I hope you're part of that.
Sorry?
I hope you're part of
Obviously. Thank you very much. Bit of interaction.
Well, the way you said, did you have a team like you're abstract? I hope you're part of that.
Okay, thank you. So this is kind of the T's and C's. This is the offer in numbers. And I know some of you appreciate numbers in this audience, so here they are. So you have 16 hours of online workshops, 8 hours of peer group calls that run for an hour, case studies, 16 hours, and then your one-to-one support, that's your mentoring support, is 10 hours. All of the stuff, all of the materials, and they are really good materials, and I would advise anybody that does the course to dive deep into these materials and models. You have access to them if you join the alumni program for 3 years, but you know, really do take a moment. I know time is so precious to anybody running a small business, but these materials are very, very focused and helpful. And then this is the golden ticket at the very end. You will have your own unique action plan that addresses the issues of your business. It may be that digital adoption isn't something you need to work on. It may be that marketing isn't something you need to work on, but you really do need to look at your strategy or your finances. So taking that learning and making sure it doesn't stay abstract and away, that it actually becomes a part of your working practice. And I know that several participants have actually taken the sessions that they've attended and brought those into their own leadership teams for discussion the following week. So this is the potential of the programme. Okay, next slide, Mary. So that was, I don't think it was a whistle-stop tour, but I think it was an introduction to Help to Grow. There are a couple of LinkedIn posts there. I think Mary will share the slides, or if we can, open them now, just from participants, because it's all very well hearing it from me, but it might be nice to hear from some of the participants. We've just got a couple of LinkedIn posts here. So this is one of our participants.
So that's one, and then the other one is speaks to us. So that's just a couple of, we have got more testimonials, we have got a new leaflet that's been published with lots of testimonials in it. So the endorsement comes from, I think, a very discerning, actually, the participants. We've been very lucky to have a very rich set of cohorts actually all the way through, and the feedback has been fantastic. So that's it. Any questions?
We always get them in class.
So emails it.
Well, okay, so what my understanding is, how does this run? Is it something that we are paying for? Is it? I'm not too sure.
So you pay £750 for
Right.
all of this because the government is funding the other 90%.
Fantastic.
So you
Absolutely
know
fine.
you pay that tiny part of it,
Yeah, that's fine.
and then
And then when is the next? When is the next 12 weeks?
That's a
running?
very
When we
good
start?
point.
That's what I'm
So
excited about.
the next you're coming. Okay, I feel like we've converted.
750 feels like there's more that you'll get your return on investment in it. Looks like.
I think it's probably £750 well spent.
Yeah.
That's your decision, not mine.
Fine. Well, we've got to find it first, but that's why we want to know. They say if you look after the penny, the pound, there you go, something like that. So I'm just trying to work out as to, we've just gone past April, so I need to know if I've got enough money in there. When it starts.
You have. So our next course starts on the 17th of May. But what we can do is, as after this, perhaps just send out the link because you'll have all of the dates then. We've got one starting in May and one starting in June.
Fantastic.
Okay, so it's 12 weeks.
So there's one in May and there's one in June.
Yes.
What type of businesses have done the programme so far?
It's been really varied. I mean, you saw, just in the two examples, we had one that was North Rail. We've had hairdressers, we've had architects, we've had business consultants, we've had accountants, we've had all sorts.
Restaurants.
We've had restaurants, manufacturing, yes.
So again, so at the end of the 12-week course, is there some sort of accreditation that we get, a certificate of participation, something?
My stance on this is your certificate really is your growth action plan.
Fantastic.
However, you do receive, if you attend and you complete your growth action plan, you will receive a shiny certificate that says LSBU, cabs, and that you've completed the Help to Grow programme. So there is something to put on the wall, but it's not as valuable as the help.
No, it's the help that we want, but we want to see that we've actually attended and we've got some sort of understanding.
What is the group size?
The group size, the maximum that we can have because of the level of support that you're getting through the programme is 25, and we are often oversubscribed. So because of our location, and I think because of the reputation that we're building for delivering this programme, so the group sizes will be between 20 and 25. Yes.
Yeah, this links back to the mix of the participants, but roughly, if you know what proportion are business to business versus business to consumer, so B2B type businesses, obviously architects.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's probably around 50-50, but I can get some more stats on that for you. I think that we, as a university, have been we've noticed more that there is a push towards service rather than product. So that would be our observation. I think that would be a different split.
I was at an alumni dinner and there was a business that was cleaning services for big industrial and things like the airports and to arena, things like that, so it's B2B. And there was also someone that manufactured ramps and equipment for, again, big museums and things like that. They bonded these two because they had similar businesses in a way, but manufactured big disability enabling access equipment, if that makes sense. Yeah. So those were two examples. And then at another dinner, I met a charity person who ran a local nursery, I think.
Yeah, service and a social enterprise attached to a charity.
Yeah. So very different, but definitely there is a B2B element as well as a business to sort of ultimate consumer element, if that makes sense as well. Yeah. It was very varied, and it was quite impressive actually, and it's quite interesting. And what I did see from that is that you have within each cohort there is the opportunity to find like-minded peers, but actually sometimes it's interesting to work with a diverse group and get the challenge.
And do you put people into sort of subgroups, learning sets? That, I mean, you mentioned that 2 bonded, but 25 is quite a big group. I just wondered if you
So that's where
have
the peer groups are only made up of 4 or 5
All right,
participants. So that's where you have those deeper conversations, and then you continue those with the mentor, so that becomes a one-to-one conversation. So your thinking is kind of being siphoned from the broad theory into a discussion with, as you can imagine, we've got business people in this room. Sharing ideas with other practitioners can be really helpful, because I think there's nothing better than talking to somebody who's in a similar situation to you, to actually bring your thinking forward. But also those facilitators have expert, we have recommended reading that comes out of some of these peer group sessions. And then you move that further forward with that relationship with your mentor.
I've got a couple other questions, but I'm
go
happy
ahead,
to let
because
someone
go
else. I
ahead,
don't wanna
please. No, please.
Another question was, I didn't see a specific module on business development, and I guess that's going to be weaved through different modules, but maybe you could talk about how much content or the level of focus on business development.
I think that would really be around the marketing modules, actually. Well, you're right, it does theme the way through, because if you haven't got your strategy at the very beginning about where you want to go and how you want to move your business forward, that in itself is business development. And then we take that out to the external stakeholders in the second part of the module, which is your vision, mission and values, and your marketing strategies.
I'm really talking about the selling process when I say business development. And particularly for a B2B business, that's such a crucial part of, it all comes down to one's ability to close the sale, and that's pretty much what
there is. The session that you might find very interesting is winning new markets and internationalization, that case study. So that comes really, that's sort of the business strand of things, but you've identified where you might need to grow your business, how you can grow your business. It might be that you're going to change your offer slightly. Then we move forward to how that would work in terms of developing those business relationships, and then through marketing.
But I do a couple of these marketing modules. Yeah. So we do 2 hours flat out on marketing strategy. And a lot of that is about developing the business, the sales process, because the important thing really is to think about, not waste effort, think about who do I want to sell to, and where's my best chance. So we talk about the segmentation tools, about identifying likely customers before you set off, and then putting together the pitch that positions your business against what they need. And that's the key to it, really. Selling is marketing, really. It's making sure there's a match before you close it.
Yeah. There's a very close, difficult sometimes to sort of tease them out, but that kind of, there is a fair amount of grunt work and of taking your marketing plan and making it happen, and making the calls and staying motivated, all of that. And there's a psychological bit of the, how many calls am I going to make this week?
Well, absolutely. Specific. It comes down to the numbers game in the end, but it's just to make sure that you're not wasting too much effort by just going at it at random, but thinking carefully about where you can really compete and where you can really win.
And that does come back to that very first part around your value proposition. There's a wonderful graph. I won't spill all the beans, but it really looks at the values in which your customers can connect with you, or through which your customers can connect with you. And it actually, there is some, it's very modern study, but there is study that says that there should be at least 6 or 7 of these for you to actually be able to infiltrate any marketplace. So before your person's picking up the phone, what are you picking up the phone for? I think that's where it starts, and being really clear about that and how you're communicating that to your customers.
We have a question from our virtual audience. So would participants on this course need to agree to some kind of confidentiality agreement, that some of the information shared may not be something that everyone wants to make public outside of this community?
We don't ask for any formal confidentiality agreement, because it's up to each participant how much they share. The relationship with the mentor, however, is confidential. I think that there is a place, and we've never had a problem, so thank you for the question. We've never had a problem, because people can talk reasonably hypothetically in a peer group situation. They don't have to name names, and we are very careful around putting competitors in the same marketplace in different peer groups. So we are intelligent in the way that we assign the peer groups, so that it doesn't have a conflict of interest for anybody. It's counterintuitive to do that. Thank you. Any other questions?
How many hours a week is it actually face to face with either your webinar or your peer group or your mentor or the case study?
It depends on the week. So you're going to be doing 2 or 4 hours of formal study. You're going to have an hour of peer group, but you don't have the peer group sessions on the weeks that you have the 4-hour case study. And then you have your mentoring. So that's 10 hours. Now the 10 hours depends on you with the mentor. The mentor will fit around your working schedules. So it really does depend on your time scales, but the minimum that you're going to be doing is 3 or 4 hours per week.
So you have a question?
I think you've got a question as
I'll
well.
have to wait.
After you,
No,
yes, sure. So again, with the case study, I know it speaks for itself. I don't sometimes get things. So when it's a case study, this is it a fictitious case study that we have to work on and
No.
have some, what's the case
It's a
study?
real life case
It's a
study.
real life case
Yeah.
study.
So we would look at a particular business and how
Right.
they've approached a particular problem or overcome a particular challenge. The very last one
Right.
is actually around Gymshark. And Gymshark were going crazily well, and then they made some business mistakes.
They're gyms.
Yes,
they're a
they're
gym brand.
gyms.
Okay.
I don't want to
And
give
they're
away all
sharp.
my secrets here for my course.
Speaks for itself, really.
But you know what we see there is
Yeah.
the development of a fantastic leader,
Right.
and they've learned actually
Right.
through facing challenge.
Right, fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay, so that sounds interesting.
Yeah,
Nice.
it's really applied. I think that's the point. It's applied.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. Thank you.
Okay, next question.
It seems like the course has to be very, very broad to like apply to all sectors, whether it's business to business or business to customer or service or product led, which makes me think that the weight of learning is based very much on the mentor if you have your own business, because for it to encapsulate all businesses, the teachings needs to be broad. But then for it to apply to each of our individual businesses, that's where your particular mentor will.
The mentors are important, but Charlie, I'll let you.
Yeah, I mean, I spent 15 years trying to sell ice cream and food and biscuits and had restaurants and fast food things. And by the end of it, I was quite, I knew what I was doing, but I didn't really know why I was doing it. So when I started teaching at a university, I found that I had to relearn everything about marketing. And it was a really great experience because everything became clear to me. My successes and terrible failures I understood what was going on because I was seeing it the other way around. So yeah, it is quite broad, but it's amazing how these ideas and theories map across all sorts of different types of businesses. And you can see that in the room when you're talking to all sorts of different business owners in what appears to be just completely different spheres, how much there is in common. And then what's the strength of this course is to pick that stuff up and then say, well, how does that apply to me? And when you, it's just brilliant to watch how people go, oh yeah, and it's brilliant. The learning is absolutely palpable, really good.
And the mentors, are they like selected to be with certain like students and candidates, or is it just like
No,
random?
they are professional mentors. They have to have leadership experience and mentoring
And in
experience.
terms of like the selection of pairing, like
Oh, right, yes. So what happens is when you first join the course, there's a couple of things I'd like to come back to actually. When you first join the course and before you join the course, you'll be asked some details on your business. So when we're assigning peer groups, we either match through business size or there might be a sort of service business to business theme. So we're thinking about that. We're also mindful the facilitators will speak to each expert speaker before the session each cohort runs through and say, well, actually this is the demographic of this particular cohort, we've got this, we've got this, we've got this. So we are sort of slightly tuning things to suit the needs of the cohorts. And then through there's a deeper diagnostic tool. When you join the programs, it asks you for a bit more information about the company, etc. From there, we then look at the mentors and match the mentors appropriately. And those relationships have been really successful. So I know where you're coming from because, we've all been in courses where there's a flip chart and somebody says, this is, utopia, this is how it's going to work, but it's how it works for you. That's what this program is interested in. It's not just how it works, it's how it works for you. And I've put that in all of these sessions at one point or another, and it is the participants are telling us through the way that they're engaging with this programme and the comments that you've just seen that it is personalised, that it is brought down to their pathway, their growth plan. So that's the end aim for all of this. It's not about understanding loads of theory, it's about understanding how that theory works for you.
Can I ask, sorry, do you have another question?
No.
Sorry. In the peer group session, so I get the webinars now, and I get then that you have this case study after a couple of webinars, you come together and you apply the knowledge to a live case study, and I get that. And that's in a group of about 20 to 25, and I assume you break out into little subgroups during that as well. I get the mentoring, the one-to-one mentoring. Now you've got these peer group sessions as well, which are in smaller groups.
Yes.
Of about
4 to 5.
4 to 5, okay. What happens there? What do we do there?
We reflect, so that there are often extra reading materials that are not covered in the sessions because the sessions are very full. There is extension stuff. So that might be visited if it's a particular module, and there would be discussion really about the learning, the reflection, how they've talked about that and communicated that into, or how business owners have communicated that into their own business, if it's useful to them, and really how that's going to apply in their context. So it's a conversational, it's a very interactive conversational session where you start to step on top of that learning and think about how you're going to absorb it into your own situation for your conversation then with your mentor.
Okay, I see. Yeah. Thank you.
Anything else? Any more? Anything on the chat?
We have none on chat, so we're all answered on chat.
Sorry, mine is just personal to me. Do you have the confirmed start date for June?
Yes, we do, but I
You do?
don't know it offhand. I'm really
So
sorry.
If I get into the email, the only reason I'll have a quick chat with you.
I mean, there is a Help to Grow registration portal that has all of those dates on it.
Okay.
So we can send that out to you
Fantastic.
as well. I believe it is, again, I think it's the 17th of June because we've had some bank holidays. We normally start on the 7th. But
Silver Platinum this year, isn't it? So Queen
yes.
Silver Platinum.
So there are, but, you know, we've got the end of May bank holidays.
And
that's
then
just pushed
in
us
terms
back.
of payment, can we pay for that? How quickly do you want that to be paid for?
To confirm your place, you have to pay because and that's true of all of them.
When do you want it to be paid?
So you register.
Yeah.
You'll get a call from the onboarding team.
Fantastic.
They will then send you a payment link.
Fantastic.
Easy peasy. Pay that. Your place is confirmed.
So that's in June. Fantastic.
Where is the booking link?
We can probably find that. Can we just?
Is it on the slides?
No.
No worries.
We could just go into Help to Grow management. We do have our own dedicated portal, but it's just as easy to show you.
And will we possibly get a copy of these slides? Is that available to us, today's ones? Yeah. Just to have a quick read through so we can have a clear
Perhaps we
understanding.
can add that to the bottom of the
Yeah,
slides
that'd
and
be
do a
good.
presentation.
Yeah.
Help to Grow.
Oh, sorry, Help to Grow.
Help to Grow management.
Keyboard management. That's it, yeah.
And then if you click on that and go down to LSBU. Okay.
Oh, so you go through the government website, is that how you pay it?
Yes, this is
Oh,
Liz.
wow.
I think you might have just missed the first 10 minutes of the.
Yeah, sorry,
yeah.
I'm slightly,
That's
my
right.
mind is slightly off, that's why I'm asking these questions, sorry to be pedantic, it's just
No,
because.
I think it's absolutely, it shows me that you're invested, so I'm glad to
So you go
answer.
through this government website, Help to Grow, and then you put the institution being LSBU. I'll give you, sorry, I'm just, so it's Help to Grow.
I think what might be easier is if we add it
Yeah,
afterwards
let's
and
add it
send it,
directly.
Yeah.
send it afterwards, that's probably easiest. I should have put that on there. So, 10 minutes ahead of time, that's not too bad, is it?
So you'll put the link on, yeah?
Yes, we'll
And then
pop that
send
on now.
these around to everybody.
Yeah.
That's awesome, thank you.
Okay. Anything else? Brilliant, thank you. I hope that you found the session useful.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Hope to see you on the course.
Thank you.
Very much so, thank you.
Thank you to everyone watching at home. We will send out the slides and the recording to you, and we'll let you know about our future events. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Nice comments coming through, so lots of people saying thank you, Lynn, well done.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, Lynn, a bit of feedback. That was wonderful. I missed the first part of registration. Very eloquent, very articulate, very easy to understand, very warm, welcoming smile. So that's just, yeah, and I'm not a schmoozer. I don't really.
I feel slightly schmoozed, but I'm equally a schmoozer, so.